Oh, well, I had, don't have to take more. Oh, my testing. Even higher than my first. I couldn't clear that. I thought one of the, well, I'm interested. Right. Doing this, I wonder, could I just pitch and all the sensitivity, all of a sudden, Christian in a way, and what, maybe nothing. So I was, well, I was one of those. Oh, she's a track. Push down, what it's on, what, no, call it, yes. Well, we're playing, you know, it's all right, so we can play it off. That was like you go with it. The wall right. Please, right. Steal it. They start the living balance with the wouldn't feel calls, but time. When you get out of the can, that Bob, right there on the, you want your famous or a half month, but they are not able. Somewhere, absolutely. Welcome to the November 7th, Beavercreek Rotary meeting. 358 days to Halloween, it's up at 23. I know you're probably tired here. Were you? Thanks, God. Thank you. Well, good afternoon. Would you please join me in prayer? Oh, Holy Creator of the quiet sanctuaries of our hearts, let us each of us name on a call one who has the power over us is great and gentle, firm, forgiving, holy, and healing. You who created us, who sustain us, who call us to live in peace, hear our prayer this day. Hear our prayer for those who are putting welfare of others ahead of others of our own, and give us hearts as generous as theirs. Hear our prayer this day, and your mercies answer us in the name of all that is holy. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Good. We are at 61% today. Our only guest is our speaker, so we'll do the introductions. Yeah. Okay. Some special announcements. I want to thank Jim Rudd, Bob, Coach Choi, and Charles Curran for helping set up the flag yesterday. It was just 4 of us, but we got them up before it's this weather today. On November 13th is when we'll be taking the flag down at 3 o'clock. We appreciate anybody that could help take them back down. It's pretty happy about us.
Yes.
Yeah. And also a guy named Mike Dumas.
Appreciate all the
Member
support
of
and
the.
he promised to.
Yeah, breast cancer guy.
Joe Jenkins wanted me to put in a half buck for him because of his election.
Yeah, you should be doing 5.
Yeah.
I wanted to say my daughter is in Little Women today at Tulsa High School, which I love that story. And she is Joe March, so I'm really excited to see her today. She's a junior, so I'm just counting down. It's like, oh my gosh, maybe I only have a couple performances left. So I'm excited about that. 7 o'clock tonight and tomorrow, if you are interested in Little Women.
What are we applying for? Find out.
My dad completed his chemo and radiation during the month of October.
It's good.
It's my boyfriend's birthday and I'm taking a half day off to surprise him. He gets home at 1:30. So I'm gonna be like, surprise, I can't nap tonight.
Yes.
Oh, we wrapped up my Friday golfing group for the year, I think, and so good, really good to see everybody and to be back with you. So,
Good day, good to see you. Anybody else? It's been a long time. It's been a very long time, too much. Chris, are you ready for the sergeant up, or you want to do the drawing instead? I'll skip right over your stuff. That's all right, that's fine. So let's do all of it.
Yeah, right.
Do it all at once. I just want to make sure.
and up first.
Okay. No, yes. The last three numbers are 771.
Oh,
That trick you.
Joe's not here, so he's all, it's fine, okay, that's mine, that's mine. What are we going to?
Well, and here, top there is.
But
Top room? Top room.
Yes.
Oh, good. And I want to thank everyone for bringing in the canned goods. We got a nice little stack of food over there. And that'll help the local food banks. So, thank you. Yes, sir, Chris. Yes, Chris. Going that over again.
There it is.
There. He was waiting on.
All right. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians, and no hellos to our guests other than our speaker. And welcome again to the Rotary Club of Beavercreek. And happy Love Your Lawyer Day, unless you are Shakespeare when he wrote Henry VI. Mr. Kuzak, may I have you rise as I present to you this very legitimate proclamation for Love Your Lawyer Day?
that sounds like a big setup.
Not with a sergeant at arms. So whereas pursuant to the unwritten yet universally binding statutes of goodwill and appreciation, the first Friday in November has been duly designated as Love Your Lawyer Day. And whereas members of the legal profession, both past and present, have been duly sworn to uphold justice, interpret bylaws, including at times those of Rotary, and bill in 6-minute increments with the utmost integrity. And whereas it is in the public best interest to acknowledge said attorneys, while frequently the subject of jokes, are also the architects of order, guardians of contracts, and defenders of due process, even when their hourly rates cause temporary emotional distress. Now, therefore, be it resolved, this assembly of Rotarians hereby acknowledges today as Love Your Lawyer Day, extending gratitude to all counselors, solicitors, advocates, and legal eagles who labor to keep our communities, clubs, and clauses in compliance. Furthermore, let it be known that any Rotarian failing to express affection, appreciation, refusal to buy a coffee, or at minimum polite nod towards a lawyer day shall be deemed out of order and subject to gentle cross-examination at the next meeting and potential fines. In witness whereof, we are hereby adjourn this declaration with unanimous consent of all objections overruled and possible cause for celebration. I present to Mr. Cusack this very official proclamation. Ignore the small print, it's all in there and it's all good stuff. All of Joe, the attorney, thinks that I'm setting him up. Moving on to birthdays and anniversaries. No members' birthdays to remember or celebrate. I have a reminder in here that the 10th of this month is my wife's birthday, so I will keep my fingers crossed I don't forget that. Member anniversaries, we have Mick Lundy celebrating 17 years on the 7th, and then Mark Weinstein will be celebrating 13 years with us and another 14 years previously, for a total of 27 on the 9th of this month. Some good things that have happened today in history, not much. 1665, the London Gazette, the oldest surviving journal, was first published. And then in 1967, US legislation, established the Corporation for Public Broadcasting as a federally funded nonprofit to ensure universal access to non-commercial, high-quality content like Mr. Rogers, which in earmarked 70% of funds to over 400 locally owned public sectors. Now for some fun things to celebrate, starting tomorrow, we're gonna have a flashback to 2020 where it was National Parents as Teacher Day. Also, I think a lot of us that were in that situation also celebrated Shop Day, or in some it says drink it straight from the bottle. Sunday, we have Celebrate Social Media Kindness Day. And this one was definitely created by a young person who had no respect for his elders because they named it Geriatric Tooth Fairy Day, which is to promote health of elderly people or dental health and hygiene for elderly people. But they chose that kind of one instead. Monday, we have the U.S. Marine Corps birthday, along with Sesame Street Day. Tuesday, the only one that really matters, will be Veterans Day. Wednesday, we have National Chicken Soup for the Soul Day and Fancy Rat and Mouse Day. Thursday, we have Hug a Musician Day, which if you see Brian Lampton, be sure to do that for him and ask him if he's also going to be partaking in Symphonic Metal Day on Thursday as well. Some things to do this week. Again, not a lot of stuff coming up. I think we're wrapping up enough the Halloween and wrapping up for Thanksgiving. But Tuesday, the city will have their phenomenal Veterans Day ceremony over at Veterans Memorial Park at 2 p.m. Moving on to school awesomeness. We'll start out with the women's cross country team. Sophia Bolden competed individually at the state cross country championship. She finished 65th place, which is quite an accomplishment. Biggest part of that accomplishment, however, is in the last 400 meters of that race, she passed not one or two or three or four or 30 or 60, but 72 runners
Wow.
in the last 400 meters. Not to be outdone, the men's cross country team, for the first time in history, are the state cross country champions, where they had Aiden Allen finishing 10th and Jackson Davis finishing sixth. And last but not least, men's varsity soccer unfortunately ended their season on a sad note as they lost to St. Xavier in penalty kicks in the state regional tournament. Now, for everyone's favorite part, today's fines. If you are not wearing your badge, that'll be $1. If you were late, and I'm not calling out anybody, city manager, that is $1. If you have ever read any of the almost 300 versions of Chicken Noodle Soup for the Soul, that'll be $1. And lastly, if you've ever watched Mr. Rogers, that'll be $1. David, since we skipped over Happy Bucks.
Get them up to give. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you very much. A lot of good information. Now, would you like to introduce our guest? Sure. Thank you, sir.
Fellow Rotarians, first of all, I should have been fine NP. We were in Florida for the last 2 Fridays at a conference, and we went to every class, right?
Yeah.
It's my honor to introduce our actually our favorite attorney by resolution now. And Andrea and I are in a business networking group, so I got to get to know Andrea very well, and I also have the honor and privilege of working with her board member for Prevent Blindness. So brief bio here, Andrea candidate Prevent Blindness Ohio, in which she serves as the Miami Valley and Southwest Communities of Ohio Small District. In a role, Andrea is a strong advocate for eye health and safety, and I will tell you, just on the weekly meetings Dave and I have with her, I've learned so much about eye health that it's forced me to go get my eyes checked. You will notice now, so probably in the last year that I'm wearing glasses, so. And it made a big change in just in my life of things that I wasn't able to see in the past. Andrea, I have a strong professional experience including special events coordinator for certificate adoption, wellness center operator for the State's Air Force, as well as being a small business owner. In addition, city show this one, but she works with the ALS Association Honor Flight Gabriel Opera. Cedarburg area Chamber of Commerce, Shoes for the Shoeless that we've been involved with in the past, City of Kettering, and the list goes on. So it's my privilege to introduce our speaker today, Andrew King.
Yes, this is a lustrous clicker, so down. It's down, yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak to Alex. I really makes a difference. So anytime I tell more people about it, I am very excited to do so. So Prevent Blindness Ohio, yeah, I did it. Okay. Yeah, it is. I didn't be able to see my slides. I'm coming over here. Okay, we are a 501c3 volunteer-driven public health charity. Prevent Blindness Ohio, which I will refer to as PBO throughout, was established in 1957 under Prevent Blindness America, which was established in 1908. It came about when someone noticed a significant number of children permanently losing their sight at a very young age, and they were able to determine that was because of bacteria that got in their eyes when they came through the birth canal. So these volunteers developed drops that are still used today. So there is a good chance every single one of you in this room has already benefited from Prevent Blindness and may not have known it. So it's okay. I wanted to get you in the show. There we go. Okay, our mission is to prevent blindness and preserve sight, and our vision is helping Ohioans enjoy good sight for life. We do cover the entire state. All 88 counties are served through our state office in Columbus, and then 4 regional chapters. Like Alex said, I'm responsible for Miami Valley, Southwest. She wants to go next. You broke. See. Oh, to see me. Sorry. What do we say? Technology. There we go. Sorry. We do have our board of directors, and then in each chapter, we also have executive councils serving those communities directly. So why does PBO matter? Every 11 minutes, someone in the United States loses their vision, and almost half of those people could have prevented it, and that's a big number. Vision disorders are the 4th most common disability in the US, and they are the most prevalent handicapping condition in children. 11% of nursing home admissions are vision related, and vision problems have an impact of 6.1 billion annually to the Ohio economy. So if you compare that to the cost of someone receiving regular vision care as opposed to becoming completely dependent because they've lost their vision. So if we know all those things, why don't people receive proper vision care? And the answer is different for different people. Knowledge, just simply not knowing why it's important to go, what things are preventable. I don't talk to, and use presentations for seniors. I have somebody tell me, well, yeah, I lost my vision, but I am 80. Those 2 things do not go together. That is not a normal part of aging. Some people say they can't find the time. There could be transportation issues, and that transportation issue could be that without your glasses, it's not safe for you to be driving. Some people simply don't have the resources to get to those appointments, and other people have a fear. So through our education, we try to help them conquer that. The effects of poor or no vision care, lower educational achievements, inability to get or keep work, loss of independence, social isolation, increased chance of falls and other accidents, inability to participate in activities, cognitive decline. That happens very quickly when the rest of those happen. You've isolated yourself, you're not participating, you're not doing anything, which leads to an increased likelihood of depression and anxiety, nursing home admissions, and then of course blindness.
I did,
So how does PBO help? We participate in research. We are constantly advocating education for everyone. We do public vision screenings, which is to determine someone's need to see an eye care professional. We offer financial assistance, and to do all of that, we do our own fundraising. Other ways we make an impact, the governor established a short-term committee, the Children's Vision Strike Force, through the Ohio Department of Health, to figure out why so many school-age children were being identified as needing vision care, but they weren't receiving it. We're also part of the Aging Eye Public-Private Partnership, the Ohio Department of Aging. We have received the Standards for Excellence seal, which means our nonprofit has been evaluated with a fine-tooth comb, and we operate at the highest ethical standards. We also have the Young Investigator Student Fellowship Awards for female scholars in vision research, which maybe you get the funding if you can just remember to say all that about yourself. This is coming up this month. Electra Kaufman is at Ohio State University, and she is working on figuring out better ways to address cataracts. And Pooja Nambiar is looking at Parkinson's disease and vision care and how those things are related. If you're interested, this is a link. It is completely online. Lots of good information will come to this. These young ladies are doing, state-of-the-art, cutting-edge research, and we help fund that. That is part of what Prevent Blindness does. So if we're looking at children's vision specifically, over 43,000 Ohio preschool children have a vision disorder. A little older than that, there are over 500,000 kids with vision issues, and it's estimated that 25 to 40% of those kids are not getting those issues addressed, which comes to about 35,000 children not getting corrective lenses. Uncorrected vision impairments in kids can cause permanent vision loss, but in children, you can also reverse some impairments if you catch them in time. And this is so imperative. While the body is still growing, still developing, they can actually go in there and fix those problems. Some of those problems, if not fixed, would cause blindness. Others would just become a lifelong impairment that could have been avoided. 80% of learning occurs through the eyes. So imagine you're in class. Most of your classmates see the clear image, but you see the one that is more blurry. And you were born with a vision impairment, so you don't know that things could or should look any different. Nobody can see through your eyes, so nobody knows that this is what you were seeing. The kid next to you seems to be doing just fine. They understand the work. Your parents, maybe your teachers are telling you what's wrong. Why aren't you trying? Do you not care about your work? Sometimes they will go to extremes, looking at much bigger things, learning disabilities and things like that, until someone finally says, wait, did anybody check their eyes? And that's all it was. Program serving children, we have STAR Pupils, which is an initiative educating students on vision care and how to best protect their eyes. Wise About Eyes is a curriculum for teachers to make it a little more fun and interactive for kids to learn. And then Super Specs is a statewide initiative that provides free protective eyewear for kids in sports and technical programs. The Save Our Sight Fund. We received this when you renew your vehicle registration and they say, would you like to give $1 to the Save Our Sight Fund? PBO is one of the recipients of that money. We use our funds to train and equip the school nurses that are doing the state mandated vision screenings in schools. This is just a little overview of some of the things that we work with on a regular basis. This is the Save Our Sight Fund over the years. The pandemic had a big hit because there was a pause put on that. You didn't have to renew. So we weren't getting that dollar from those people. Now you can renew your vehicle registration for up to 5 years at a time. So instead of getting $5, we might be getting $1. So you can see the drop, it did come back up in our past fiscal year, but we are expected to train and equip the same number of school nurses with $500,000 that we were with over $900,000. So that has been a bit of a struggle for us. Adult vision. The four most common eye diseases are glaucoma, diabetic retinopathy, cataracts, and age-related macular degeneration. Over 100,000 people over 40 in Ohio have glaucoma, and half of you don't know it yet. More than 1 million Ohioans over 40 have cataracts. We have had eye doctors that we work with tell us, if you're lucky enough to live that long, you're going to get cataracts, take proper action and move on. And over 97,000 are affected with age-related macular degeneration. And a lot of what PBO does is the prevention. We want to get you to the eye doctor so you can start to see the growth of these diseases before it affects your eyes. With most of these, there are treatments but not cures. So you want to identify them as soon as possible, and you do that by getting a regular eye exam. Programs serving adults are vision screenings. We work a lot of health fairs. And again, this is not an eye exam. It's just a screening to determine your need to see an eye doctor. But we do this for people that they have insurance, they have transportation, but they say, I see just fine. Why would I go to the eye doctor? Healthy Eyes training just gives you a more in-depth look at what these diseases are, the effects they have, how you can look out for them. We are part of the Aging Eye Public-Private Partnership. We do legislative briefings, Ohio's Aging Eye Summit. We publish the Vision Resource Guide, which is on your table. Workplace eye health and safety campaigns. Our work is not simply about the eye diseases, it's also protecting your eyes when you are doing hobbies and certain work. And falls prevention education. We have certified adult vision screeners and Healthy Eyes Advocate, which are our volunteers in the community. This is a training that takes just a couple of hours. We typically do them online. It's most convenient for people. We can also do them in person. You learn about the aging eye diseases, you learn how to perform distance and near acuity, the risk assessment questions to ask. And once you're finished with your training and assessment, you are nationally certified for 3 years. You receive eye charts so that you can do this, whether it be helping us with our scheduled events, you can set up your own event. You could use this information simply when you're having a conversation with a friend, a neighbor, someone you're talking to and say, I can help you. If anyone is interested, these are some training dates that we have coming up. But again, we can do these anytime, any place. Our Vision Care Outreach Program. This is where we have done one of these screenings, determined someone needs vision care, but they may not have the resources to do so. So this is for people that are living at 200% from the federal poverty guidelines, and they don't have insurance or insurance that has vision. Some people have insurance, but it doesn't cover vision. Some people have vision insurance that we can't figure this one out. It will cover the exam, but not glasses. So they just need a little bit of help there. This serves adults and children, all Ohioans. We can do these applications online, which makes it a very quick process. Through this, they will receive a list of doctors in their area. We do our best to find out, what would make it most convenient for them to get there. Does it need to be on a bus route? How far are you willing to travel? They get that full comprehensive eye exam, and that's a big word there. If your eyes have not been dilated, you did not have a full eye exam. And we can reach these people through our events, partner organizations, and then just, of course, even now individuals like you that know this program exists. Our partner organizations have a lot to do with our success. We go into these places, we train and equip some of their staff and volunteers with the idea that if you are going to a food bank because you don't know how you're going to eat, how you're going to feed your family, that is taking priority over everything. So while they are there, they can offer them other resources. They can do a vision assessment and get them set up to see the eye doctor without them having to make a second trip, without them having to use another bus token or fill their gas tank. Plus, if people are going to these organizations, they know them and they trust them, so they trust our services as well. We are able to reach so many more people through the partner organizations. Like I said, the food bank is a big one, domestic violence shelters. If you got your chance to leave, you may not have stopped to grab your glasses, your kids' glasses. PBO receives funding mostly through our grants. We also have individual donors, and I will tell you our largest statewide individual donor is someone that was the head of his company down in Cincinnati. So he has all the means. He's got vision, I'm sorry, he has insurance, he has money, time, transportation, nothing stopping him from going to the eye doctor, other than the fact that he could see just fine. One of our volunteers worked for him, did what we want them to do. He went to the eye doctor finally, and he was in the very beginning stages of glaucoma. And this was 15, maybe close to 20 years ago. He's now retired with great grandchildren. He's still driving. And he's very supportive because he fully recognizes that if he had waited till that had started to affect his eyes, he would be in a much different place now. Corporations, organizations, and events. And then of course we have planned giving and investments, but those are much harder to budget for. These are just some of our grant funders in the Miami Valley. I'm sure you recognize some of those names. We couldn't do what we do without their support. Just some more examples of, the life of a nonprofit and the way things fluctuate. We are fortunate to be a longstanding nonprofit so that we do have some investments for emergency type situations, but always hoping not to have to dip into that. Our biggest fundraiser is our People of Vision Celebration Lunch. We do this in 5 different cities throughout the state. We have a keynote speaker. It's a great opportunity for networking. We also present a Community Partner and Vision Award. And then we have a donation asked during that event. And as you can see, those have been struggling as well. And this is not, PBO specific. This is nonprofits in general. It's getting harder and harder to get funds. Coming up in 2026, Tony Hall is going to be our keynote speaker. That's going to be on Friday, February 27th. If you're unfamiliar, he is a 3-time Nobel Peace Prize nominee, former U.S. ambassador, and former U.S. Representative. So these are just some client success stories. I'll just read one to you. The student was hesitant at first about wearing glasses, but after her appointment, she was smiling and excited to get glasses. This student is considered homeless by Ohio law, I think the one that's covered up, and does not receive any support from her parents. She appreciates all Prevent Blindness Ohio does for their kids, especially those who are in a situation such as hers. Okay, so just kind of an overview of you protecting your own vision. Again, it's more than just how do things look to me today. Wear sunglasses. Even if the sun doesn't seem to affect your eyes, it is still reaching your eyes. Your eyes can burn just like your skin does. Exposure to the sun is going to speed up the development of cataracts and possibly some other diseases. Wear sports goggles and safety goggles. We are all guilty of saying, I should probably wearing some gloves, some goggles, but it's just going to take me a few seconds. And that's how quickly it takes to lose your eye. Alex can tell you from days in the field. He shared some calls he was on. Having that regular comprehensive eye exam, even if year after year your eye doctor says everything looks great, keep up with that regular eye exam. Your doctor can compare something if there's nothing to compare it to. They can't tell you if something changed. Your overall health, of course, has a big effect on your eyes. Your body is all working together. I was reading just recently that your eyes are the second most complex organ in your body, second only to the brain. Okay, and then I just always ask everybody in the room, when was your last eye exam? Just to get you thinking about it. Maybe it's time to go. This is a link to our website here if anyone is interested. ready for questions. Yes, and I always start this by saying, I am not a doctor. I am a non-profit professional. I cannot diagnose you here, but I welcome any questions you might have. Yeah, the lady with her mouth full, yes.
Yeah, right. I would say that I had LASIK like 16 years ago and I'm like, who do the eye doc? Or, right, I can see perfectly. Well, I have the beginnings of glaucoma, and so what you're saying is absolutely
Yes.
true. So please, listen, go to the eye doctor.
Thank you for sharing that,
Yeah.
yes, and I say that a lot, what we call visual acuity, I'm sure you've all heard like the 20/20 number, that's considered perfect vision. People with 20/20 can still have glaucoma and other eye issues, so again, I believe you can see just fine. I've also encountered people who said I can see just fine, it's because they've never had an eye exam and had someone put a pair of glasses on them that opened up a whole new world, where they learned that branches have trees. Trees have branches. Jack. Any other questions?
This is more, well, I'm sorry. Am I done?
Go ahead.
Your comment about the healthcare, the insurance, my Medicare covers for the health exam my eyes, but it doesn't cover glasses, like you said, and it doesn't cover the separate test to see if I need glasses. It covers the health, but not the, when you read the chart, all that stuff, I pay separate for that,
Yeah,
which makes no sense to me.
it doesn't, it is very frustrating for us. Another exciting thing, just within the last month, we added a website to help navigate Medicaid and Medicare plans, because we've had so many people, we refer them, but then through conversations, we find out that they did have vision insurance all along. But insurance is so complicated and it's so hard to navigate. And I'm sorry, I'm guessing you don't fit our, financial assistance lines, but it's just good to share that is a reality for people. There are people that are falling into this, they're told they make it enough, but the bottom line is if it's a family of five, there's not left over the needs. So,
Would you say that the educational struggles have more to do with the education system or with the fact of learning visually being not there?
so are you asking like if the schools are helping with those vision, or is it just like the educational curriculum itself?
I guess more could the schools and the education system be able to combat the learning struggles fully?
So part of what we do is train them to do that, and that Children's Vision Strike Force that I was talking about earlier, the governor put together, was to address exactly that. So like the Save Our Sight Fund, we're saying like, they are collecting the funds. We are using those funds to train and equip the school nurses that are doing these screenings, like they have to document, we can prove that that is being done. What's happening is when they let the parents and guardians know, like that's where it is stopping, and trying to figure out why. If we've identified the need, we've sent that message, why isn't the child getting the care that they need? And there's no one answer for that. All the things that come home in your kid's backpack, it was very easily overlooked. Part of that includes that, your kid needs help, but if you can't pay for it, that is not a problem. It's going to be paid for. Some people don't want to take it, think it's going to take away from other people. We have had parents tell us, it's probably not that bad. We'll just wait and see what happens. Very frustrating. So the tools are there, but clearly it's not being as effective as it needs to be. David, our vice president, is continually advocating, and we could talk about this on and on, the number of students compared to the number of teachers and even nurses. I don't have a great answer for you. We're hoping they're going to be there for that, but we haven't quite figured it out exactly.
Andrea, great summary, great details for a very, very good organization. You may want to comment too, the state legislature and Governor DeWine have allocated funds for an IC program, which actually volunteers, the Ohio Optometric Association, and a number of doctors and office staff from optometrists are going into communities, doing vision screenings. If the child's family cannot afford glasses, they will be provided for them. But the state legislature last year allocated some, this year, similar amount or a little bit more. But again, I want to compliment you, a great organization, and putting out information. One other thing, now there are some youngsters in here, but the vast majority that have more or less hair than I do, if you have an ocular problem and you have major medical insurance or Medicare, Medicaid, you don't have to have a separate vision care policy. That's mainly aimed at hardware, as I call it, glasses, contacts. But your doctor can bill for a medical problem, say a cataract, glaucoma, and that would go to major medical. So you may owe a copay for your office visit, but you covered that ground also. But again, thank you. Excellent job.
Thank you. That's the Ohio Seed program that you're talking about. It's very similar to the work we do. We are not part of that funding. But part of the reason I love working for nonprofits is that we want you to get your vision care taken care of, right? If it's the Ohio Seed program, if it's Prevent Blindness Ohio, great, just get it done. And I do like your reminder that you can have it covered by your medical insurance, but then it still leaves him out of getting glasses, right? Did you have another question?
I forgot it.
Anybody else?
Chris, will take picture, you get this one? Okay. They're presenting it. It's on. What we do for every speaker, we have a book presented to them that we put into the Beavercreek Library. And y'all, that's signed by our guest on the inside here. This is very fitting. Who is Helen Keller?
Yeah.
They talk about vision care, so this is a very appropriate book. And Chris, what would you like us to?
Right there, it's fine.
Okay. Just down. There you go. Oh, two. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Any old business? Yeah.
I don't know if this is old or new, but you need one more greeter for next week. Bob will go all by himself. We need a greeter for next week.
Bob Bell by himself.
Mom, take Cusack will do it. Oh, thanks, Dave.
All right. Again, November 13th, we'll be taking the flags up. I'll remind everybody, we're gonna need some help. Again, thank everybody who brought food. And like I said, I'm gonna match it. So whatever we gotta figure it out, or I have to figure out, somebody does, just how many cans, boxes, whatever it is, so I can match it. Yeah.
I just have one announcement.
Sure.
There is a clipboard going around. Right here. What is it? Oh, that's right. And I think most people had it last week. This group grateful for enough money to meet the needs for this year's project. I mean, the $2,000 donation through United Way certainly helps with that. But I just stepped out during this meeting that we, through Beavercreek Fish, have an additional 12 families that just need the food basket. So we certainly need people to help the day of the delivery, which is December 20th. And then on the 17th, we will be wrapping the gifts for the children at the township community basement. You can sign up and help. And if you do choose to donate, that money will just go towards the project again next year.
All right. In your business. Can I put your right stand to the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic. Thanks. Thank you all. Slides. There's a chair. I don't know what was being shared. All over picture. Block the slides. I'll put them on Google Drive. Can you get to the Google Drive? Paul Eric. I'll put them on Paul. Yeah. We should put the slides on. But they have her slides on Paul Eric.